Now I'd like to very much, hopefully that the Minister is available online, to introduce our second keynote around the theme of advancing the digital agenda, Spain's key priorities for the presidency of the Council of the EU. And we are delighted and very honored to have with us online on the big screen, Carme Artigas Brugal, who's Secretary of State for Digitization and Artificial Intelligence in the government of Spain. But as I'm sure you all know, Carme is much, much more than just the Secretary of State, which is a pretty important job in itself. As you all know, she's a recognized expert in big data, artificial intelligence, technology, innovation, and a very successful entrepreneur in her own right. Thank you very much, Secretary of State, for being with us this morning, and over to you.
So thank you very much for inviting me. Of course, I'm so sorry I could not join you in person, and I want to congratulate Forum Europe and VMware for organizing this great event. I was really listening very carefully with Mr. O'Donoghue, and probably I will share some visions that we are absolutely aligned. So indeed, what we discuss here today holds great importance in shaping the future of our digital landscape. And therefore, I would like to share some insightful ideas that will illustrate the vision that Spain has towards a secure, trustworthy, and resilient digital infrastructure, and be able to decide with whom and how they build such infrastructure, avoiding situations of lock-in and favoring competition. So this is not just a matter of cloud and data governance providers. It takes a broader perspective where we, as a union, must consider what's strategic for our region or not, and act on it so that either we have a diversified value chains or European production and delivery of such products and services. Spain has said that open strategic autonomy will be one of the main priorities of our presidency. It's what we call the Pillar 1, reindustrialization of Europe and open strategic autonomy, being digital one of the main fields. This is very much in line with the recently released European Commission strategy on economic security. In it, it is clear that the European Commission will seek a debate on those strategic areas where we need to start investing as a region to have a chance at the next international races in this complicated geopolitical context. One of the areas identified by the Commission has been the digital one, where I believe technologies such as artificial intelligence, quantum computing, or neurotechnologies will become key elements of discussion. During the last 3 presidencies, we have seen an exponential commitment towards data sovereignty, at least on the regulatory side. And now we have 2 new regulations empowering citizens and entities producing data to be free to decide with whom they share such data and under what conditions. As data crosses borders and traverses the vast expanse of the internet, concerns about privacy, security, and data ownership have become increasingly critical. Both the Data Act and the Data Governance Act establish frameworks to share non-personal data internationally in a safe and secure manner. More specifically, the Data Act also provides key rights to access and share data, as well as for switching between cloud service providers, avoiding lock-in situations. This possibility to switch cloud service providers easily gives way to the development of sovereign cloud offers. And this is a new paradigm where data is stored and processed within the borders of the European Union, providing an unparalleled level of protection against potential cyber threats and unauthorized access, both by private and public actors. Spain has always defended the fact that data should be stored and processed in the European Union under the principles, values, and norms of the European Union. And since then, we have positively seen a rise of commercial offers of the main big tech providers, ensuring the development of commercial solutions that give response to European aspirations. And that means allowing not only that data resides in Europe, that is processed in data centers located in Europe, but that also we have operational autonomy. So that means, and that shows, that it is not just a matter of political aspirations, but it has also economic sense. And I will share with you what I've sometimes shared with my private conversations with some key cloud providers that has approached us, sharing their concerns, and as you have mentioned, with this immunity rule on the UCS. And I said, please, you should read the sign of the times. we are going that way, we won't have a trust for cloud providers, trustful cloud services and data services. And by the way, confidentiality will be a great business. So I think we should not do the efforts in trying to go against the sign of the times. I think we should embrace the sign of the times and understand that confidentiality is a good business, is a good thing for the European Union. So even more, we'll see the development of edge computing, as it has been mentioned, for self-driving cars or for the digitalization of certain sectors as energy or smart cities, where latency is a key factor to run the service for smart objects to take decisions in real time. And in short, also, we will need superconnectivity, data, and edge processes capability. Furthermore, by promoting domestic data centers of any cloud provider, we can stimulate the growth of a homegrown digital industry. And this, in turn, will create high-skilled jobs, foster innovation, and contribute to the overall economic growth of our nations. Again, it does make economic sense as well as political sense. The backbone of the sovereign cloud lies in its robust security measures. By harnessing the state-of-the-art encryption techniques and employing cutting-edge cybersecurity protocols, we can ensure that data remains confidential and tamper-proof. Moreover, data sovereignty promotes trust among citizens and businesses, fostering an environment where individuals can confidently engage in digital activities, be it e-commerce or e-governance. So security of the clouds is another relevant topic that I believe we should touch upon. You have been already mentioning this. There has been quite some tensions on the European certification for cloud cybersecurity that ENISA is working on over one tiny criterion, which is immunity. But without this criteria, we cannot ensure the clouds are cyber secure. And I think that's really obvious. This criteria is therefore of utmost importance to ensure a high level of cybersecurity protection in those areas which are critical and confidential, such as health, defense, or management of public sector data. And this requirement to prove the immunity gives us the confidence that no one having extraterritorial legislation can access to data or processing information in a way that is a stark conflict with the European and EU member states' law. But do not get me wrong, this is not to cut access to European market to international big tech companies. On the contrary, we want to ensure that if they work in critical sectors of our regions, our confidentiality is respected, even if they come from countries which do not share our values or commitments to democracies. And really, I hope that during the Spanish presidency, this can be brought forward with the support of all member states. Alternatively, we all know that these member states trying to develop their own understanding of a cloud cybersecurity certification. We have recently in Spain published our cloud strategy for public sector that is built upon three main areas. One, adoption of a hybrid cloud. So build the cloud on the central administration, but also combined with hyperscales with the cloud of other administration and outside providers. Second, reducing data processing centers, trying to reduce costs and also environmental impact and simplifying processes, adjusting to the EU rules. And third, growing the cloud service catalog, incorporating apps that are useful for the public administration. But also this strategy includes the creation of data lakes in different sectors, in line with the European data strategy. And these areas in Spain include the data lake for health, for tourism, for industry sectors, for agriculture. And I think that's the way to go, together with the Gaia X strategy that we're pushing for the B2B environment. In words of our Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who presented this strategy in November, he said, it is key that the public and private sectors work together in the different aspects of digitalization, such as cloud and data sharing, in order to make the most of our efforts. So regarding cloud specifically, we approach this strategy thinking in fact that cloud isn't just an intangible concept anymore, that it has implications in the physical world. In conclusions, sovereign cloud, sovereign autonomy, open strategic autonomy is a manifestation of our commitment to secure our digital future. By embracing this vision, we can build together a resilient digital infrastructure that safeguards our data, protects our citizens, and boosts our economy. So let us embark on this journey together, hand in hand, and usher in a new era of digital sovereignty. Thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to the conclusion of today's conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. You no doubt have to leave to get back to work, but can I ask you one quick question, if I may? Very quick question. You talked about people need to read the signs of the times, and I just wonder whether in your discussions, given you have quite a few challenges in your presidency, not least an election coming up quite soon, whether how confident are you that other countries, other member states around the council table basically share the Spanish government's vision on cloud sovereignty? Or to what extent do you have quite a lot of work still to do, you as the new incoming presidency, to convince some member states or not?
I would say there are like two ways. No, some countries are in favor of this open strategic autonomy, understanding that the immunity is important to guarantee cybersecurity, and that this is not incompatible with having options and having the competitors and third-party providers. On the other way, the third-party providers, when are in Europe, are operating as European companies. And for me, the commercial proposals that are putting into the table on what they themselves called confidential cloud computing, for me, fulfill the necessary guarantees that this immunity is ensured. But of course, there are other member states that are more protective for their own local industries that probably are not so convinced in that trade-off. So I think there is some work to be done to have a common position. But I think whatever steps we take are in the right directions. Probably we need to get in between, but we all know that we cannot guarantee cybersecurity with leaving the open door to any third-party provider, because we sometimes only think about friend countries, but there are some non-friend countries that would also enter in this field. So I think we need to ensure this friend shoring, having providers that know that we are defining the rules of the game in this club, which is the European Union, and they can decide either to compete or not. Remember that this certification is not, it's just voluntarily. But of course, they are aware that it's going to give a commercial advantage. So these certifications will not be compulsory, are volunteer. So they decide if they want to be in this site or in the other. The same happens in Spain with the Charter of Digital Rights or the AI Act. We are all pushing for a regulation that the only aim is to ensure citizens' rights. And I think that at least we have the feeling that the providers are understanding this concern and that they will do their best to fulfill our aspirations.
Thank you so much, Secretary of State. Thank you, Carme. We'll let you get back now. Thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Enjoy the day. Thank you.